Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Double Clutch Media Podcast. Kevin is speaking, and Kevin was late to work today. How about that? Kevin was late to work. He's never late to work. Kevin's never late to work. He was late today. Partially his fault, I guess. He was running a little bit late. But when I got down to the interstate, they were doing fucking road work at noon. Road work. 12 o'clock in the afternoon, they're doing road work on an interstate. This is a busy interstate. One of the busiest in the state. And I get it. They're doing road work. It's Pennsylvania. Yeah, I mean, they're always doing road work here. But at noon, you're doing road work on an interstate, a very busy highway at noon. And traffic's backed up for miles. Like, I'm sorry, but if it was, if this was on like a state route, in a town somewhere, somewhere that doesn't have this volume of traffic, that'd be fine if you did it during the day. Because people, people will see that and they'll be like, oh, well, I just have to go around that. If you live around the area, you know the back ways to get out. Oh, what's that? Oh, incoming work edition. If you know the areas the area where you live, you'll know how to get around this road work. You'll know where to go. You'll know how to, surpass all that. When you're on the highway, if people are on the highway, they're fucking stuck, man. There's only so many exits. They're fucking stuck. They can't just get off, you know what I mean? And not only that, it backs up traffic for miles. It was backed up for like 4 miles from where I was at. It started at mile marker 55. And because I'm actually passing through it on the other side of the highway right now, because I'm at work, I'm passing through it. It started at mile marker 55. I am now at mile marker 58, and it's still backed up, and I can see it's still backed up, down the way here. So I mean, I'm gonna keep going up here and see how far it's packed up. It's horseshit. As of right now, it is 1:13. It's 1:13. They're doing fucking road work, and the thing is, they closed one lane. They pushing it all down to one lane. Really? At noon? At lunchtime? At lunchtime, you're gonna shut down an entire lane on the interstate, and then fucking all these people are just gonna either, depending on where they're coming from, they might just be, driving, might be going out to lunch. Some of them might be on lunch break, and now what? They're spending their fucking lunch break sitting in fucking traffic because you just had to, replace this guardrail at fucking 12:30 in the afternoon. That's bullshit. This kind of shit I think should be done at night. If it's on a busy ass interstate like this, it should be done at nighttime, where there's less traffic, less people. There's just a line of trucks right now. There's a line of trucks, couple cars, just a line. And these people are fucking. Some of these guys are paid by the mile. You know what I mean? Now what? They're just sitting, not getting paid, but they're still working. They're still driving their trucks and shit. Like I said, other people are out. They're going to lunch. You know what I mean? Or maybe they're even getting off work and they just want to get home. It's like, oh, I had a long day. I started at, 3 a.m. Now it's fucking 1 o'clock. Oh, nope, I'm going to sit in traffic for about a half hour, 40 minutes because they just needed to, grind up some road at 12:30 in the afternoon. And I think that's horseshit. That needs to be done. Whoa, man. That needs to be done at night. If it's on an interstate like that, it needs to be done at night. Because, like I said, if it's on like a regular route, we're mile marker 60.5. And I'm looking across the way here, and it's still backed up. That's 5 miles right there, almost 6 miles. This is backed up. Now we're at the end of it right here. So like 60.8. So like 5 miles, 5.5 miles here. Oh, no, never mind. People are just slowing down. It's still backed up way up here, too. Never mind. It's still going. That's horseshit. They can do this stuff on state routes. They can do this stuff, They can do it in, the township needs to get some shit done. Whatever. People can surpass that. Nobody can surpass this. And if they do, 1,000 other people are thinking the same thing. Well, I'm just going to get off at this exit and take this way. Yeah, well, you and about 250 other cars are going to do the same thing. Now that's backed up. So, this, like I said, this is this is a travesty. This is a travesty. Why? Why would they even do this? Oh, there's somebody going in the emergency / authorized vehicle only space. They're turning around. They're like, I'm going up fucking exit 65. Fuck this. But yeah, I don't know. That's infuriating to me. Traffic is one of the most infuriating things to me, which is weird considering I'm a driver. I sit in traffic a good bit. I sit in traffic quite a bit. So it's not like this is nothing new to me, but it's still it doesn't need to happen. Sometimes it does happen. Sometimes there's a wreck, but I don't know. It's just I just wish that if 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 they were going to do this kind of work, they would just do it at night when there's nobody there. You know what I mean? If I get off at 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm going up 81 there, and all of a sudden, there's some road work. Okay, well, guess what? There's not 600 other cars behind me now. There's not a whole lot of people behind me, so it's not an issue. I'll be glad to just go. It'll be so much easier for me to go through it because there's nobody else. There's gonna be 6 or 7 other cars around the area. Oh, I can see the right lane's closed. I'll get over. And that's it. Slow down to 55 and boom, I pass it. That's it. It's just miserable. It's just miserable. Then you got people that slow down on merge ramps. That right there is a nice big, that's a cause for wrecks too because people just don't know how to drive. I get you have to slow down a little bit, but you don't have to come to a stop. Stop coming to stops on merge ramps. If you come to a stop on a merge ramp, go fuck yourself. The only reason you should be coming for a stop on a merge ramp is, one, if there's already a fucking, backed up traffic, or two, there is no merge ramp, which, at least around here, I can only think of one actual, exit onto the highway, entrance to the highway, where, there's no merge ramp. And that's down a bit. That's way down a bit. That's down southbound. So that's not going to happen up here. But it's quite annoying. That kind of stuff infuriates me because it is dangerous. I think. I personally think it's a little dangerous to stop on a merge ramp. But yeah. Anyway, that's a traffic report for fucking today. All these dumb drivers. Yeah. But yeah. So I had off work last night. Well, yesterday. I had off work. I had to take the newborn baby to the doctor's, and this little porker is 14 pounds. He's 2 months old. He's 14.6 pounds already. So he's roughly 14 and a half pounds, and like 23 or 24 inches long. I can't remember. But he is a giant. He's only 2 months old. This kid is a giant baby. Like, I guess they said he's in like the 98th percentile for weight and like the 68th percentile for height, which is, well, I mean, the height, that's cool. At least he's on the up curve. But man, that boy is fat. He never misses a meal, that kid. He's always eating. And they gave him his vaccinations, and he was not too happy about that. He was actually miserable the rest of the day until we finally got him to sleep around, 10:30, 11 o'clock last night. Because the rest of the day, he had like an hour nap, and then the rest of the time he just cried, ate, and then cried some more. And then he pooped. He did poop finally. He was constipated. So he finally got that log out. And yeah, that was an eventful day. And then I actually had time after that. The wife was asleep. All the kids were asleep finally. I got to play some video games, which was very nice because I only really get to do that on the weekends anymore now. Which is when the kids go to sleep, because I can't exactly do it while I can maybe play a little bit when the kids are awake, but after a while I'm sweating because they're all sitting on my lap, just all this body heat making me catch on fire. So I usually just wait till they go to sleep and I'll just play some games. I bought Super Mario 3D All Stars, which was great because it has the original, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy, which is great because Super Mario 64, that's part of my childhood right there. That's one of the first 3D games I played, unless if I don't count Sonic 3D Blast on the Sega Genesis, which, let's be honest, that was a garbage game, I think. I played it though. I played it and I beat it. I beat it. I got all the Chaos Emeralds. I got all the way to the end. I was pretty upset when I found out that was the next game, a 3D one. Well, the isometric 3D game. It was such a pain in the ass, but it sucked. But I played it. I played it all. I beat it. I completed everything I could in that game, and then I went right back to Sonic the Hedgehog 2 or Sonic 3 and Knuckles, whichever I felt like playing for a half hour, because that's all the time it ever took for me to beat the game. So I got so damn good at it. But yeah, I was definitely reliving the childhood there. I wasn't playing nothing new, and so I played Mario 64 for a little while, and then I went on my Switch and I downloaded Final Fantasy VII, and I started playing that, which means I effectively own Final Fantasy VII like 5 or 6 times now. I've paid for that game 5 or 6 times. I got two copies on the original PlayStation. I still have those. I bought it on the PS3. I bought it on the PlayStation Store on my PS3. I bought it on I believe I bought it on Steam. So that right there, that's 4. And I don't think I bought it on the PS4. No, I didn't. But then I just bought it on the Switch last night. So I owned that game 5 times. And I've probably beaten that game 15 or 16 times. Like, I swear, I think, like, every year, once every couple years, I just go back and I play that game just to, I don't know, relive the fucking, how I was in the year 1999, when I actually first got the game. I believe it was 99. Came out like 97 or something. I didn't get it till late. But I bought that game, and I've been playing it every year, every 18 months since then. And it doesn't get old, man. It doesn't get old. I mean, I know how to do everything. Like, I can complete the entire game without an issue. I know where everything is in that game. I don't need a strategy guide. I don't need, online tips or anything like that. I know how to do everything. I know how to, get every piece of material, all the hidden shit, all the limit breaks. I know how to unlock. Like, I know there's nothing I don't really know about that game at all. And I mean, it used to be one of my favorite games. It was my favorite game for a long time until Resident Evil 4 came out, and I started playing that, and then that became my favorite game. And then, every so often another game would come out, and I'd be like, oh, well, that's my favorite game now. Just as of right now, my favorite game, it's very hard to, it's so hard to, like, it's either, I'm going to say it's God of War, the one that came out in 2018 here. I'm pretty sure that's my favorite game right now, because that game is just amazing. It's an amazing fucking game. And everybody kind of doesn't really shit on it, but they act like it's so overrated. But then they'll go and play like Red Dead Redemption and fucking worship the ground that fucking case and disc sit on. You know what I mean? So it's not like, that's a great game too. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a great game too. You know what I mean? Persona 5, I love Persona 5. That was my favorite game. At least in 2017, I played that game fucking, I'm on like New Game Plus. You know what I mean? It's not like, when I get games, I play the shit out of them. I play them more than once. Like, I definitely get my $60 out of it. So, I'm not offended by these price tags or anything. But, that's it for now. I mean, I think the newest game I even really played lately was probably Animal Crossing, and I don't even get to play that much. My wife plays the shit out of that. She plays Animal Crossing, so I end up playing, I usually play on my PlayStation. I'm usually playing, like I just got the Resident Evil 3 remake, and that's a gorgeous game. But I definitely got some time. Definitely got time to play my stuff, which is fantastic. That's, like I said, it's normally a thing I get to do on the weekends, but I got a little bit of time last night. And then, I'll do it tomorrow night too. Well, I'll get home probably late tonight, but then tomorrow night, I'll play tomorrow night, and I might just go play Final Fantasy VII again, for the umpteenth time, because I'm gonna beat the game. And it's nice because it has this fast forward thing on it now, because it's all done up now. It's a little remastered, but it has a thing where I can like fast forward. It has like 3 times the speed. So like when I run, I'm fucking running. When the text comes up, I don't have to read it. I already know what it says. This is like like I said, this is like the 15th or 16th time I played the game. So I don't need to read the text. I know what they're all saying. I know what I need to do. I just skip through all that. I know where I need to go to get to this. I know how to beat this. Which is nice, super nice. I enjoy it a lot. But yeah, other than that, like I said, the newest game I think I play is the Animal Crossing. I did play the Final Fantasy VII remake too. I played and beat that too, and I gotta say I do like that a lot. But it was kind of upsetting when the game ended after I left, like right when I left Midgar. I'm just like, fucking, I don't know. The thing is, a lot of people, this isn't, when they made the game, when they made the Final Fantasy VII remake, they didn't take into account what people actually wanted. Like, it is a great game. I love it. It has the same battle system as like Final Fantasy 15 and I guess 13 too. I never played 13, but it's like the same combat system. For the most part, there's a little bit of differences like the ATB gauges and stuff like that, but they what people really wanted was the exact same game, just with those graphics, with the graphics that they got. I mean, with the graphics and the not having to read the text, just being able to have the players speak. But what they did was, which I do enjoy, they fleshed out a lot of the story, like a lot of the Avalanche characters, which I found really cool is whoa buddy, which I found really cool is that Wedge, the one character, he's part of that group Avalanche, was voiced by the same guy who plays Badger in Breaking Bad. I was like, oh, that's super cool. And then also Heidegger, the Shinra weapons leader, I guess that's what he is. He was voiced by fucking shit, what's his name? God damn it, he plays Bender. Shit, what's his name? Shit. No, it doesn't matter. He's voiced by the same guy who voiced Bender. He voiced God, I can't remember the dog's name in Adventureland too. Jake. Jake. Wait, is that his name? Fuck, I don't know. He voiced him too. He voiced a couple other people. But yeah, I thought that was really cool too. They got some good voice actors there. But yeah, all people really wanted was an updated version of the old game with just better graphics. Like they could have had the same exact game, like the same exact story, the way the story was laid out in the original one. They could have had that same exact story with the graphics and stuff they have now, and people would have been so happy. At least people like me, I would have loved that. You know what I mean? But you got a whole new thing, and they're gonna bring it out in parts, I guess. Which, I mean, I guess is okay. Now I beat the game, but now I gotta wait, another fucking 3 or 4 years before it fucking comes out again, or longer. I mean, it took forever for this one to come out. People have been asking for it since the late 2000s. Maybe even longer than that. But that that whole thing there, that's about all anybody really wanted, and they got this instead. Which I said, like I said, it's good, but but so we we got new neighbors yesterday. Well, last week sometime. We got new neighbors. They moved in last week, and we could never tell who the neighbors were because they had so many people over there helping move in and shit. There was like 7 or 8 cars at a time over there. We finally met them last week, or actually yesterday. We finally met them yesterday, and not, just like through passing, kind of, no real formal, I mean, I said nice to meet you, that kind of shit. But we got new neighbors, and they are fucking pricks. No, I'm just kidding. They're not. They're actually really nice people. They have a newborn baby too. Um, they my oldest son was, uh, already had something to, already had something in common with the one guy because they have the same name. They're nice people. They're they don't. My wife thinks they seem like partiers. I don't think they seem like partiers. I think they were just. I think they were just had a lot of people over because they were moving. Yesterday it was just the guy who lived there, his baby, and then I guess his wife's dad or whatever was over there. So it's not like, so far, I mean, they've only been there for, a week and a half. So who knows, maybe down the road I'll be fucking cutting my yard and I'll go a little bit on their side and he'll come out, cuss me out, be like, hey man, that's my blades of grass or something like that. Or I won't do something, I won't rake my leaves quick enough. And he'd be like, I'd really appreciate it if you just get your fucking leaves raked up. Your yard looks like shit. In turn, makes my yard look like shit. So, I don't know. We'll find out about that. But they seem pretty fucking nice. I was kind of just hanging out in the garage, cleaning shit up. I didn't really want to, I'm not exactly, a very, personable person. I don't like to talk to people that often. But, I mean, obviously my neighbors and shit, I gotta get to know them. I mean, my other neighbors on the other side of me are fucking awesome. I love those guys. They're a couple of, old people. They've been there since the 70s. They were, the first owners of the house. I live in a neighborhood where, like, everyone's, like, retired. All the people except for, like, me and, like, 2 or 3 other houses have, like, retired people. You know what I mean? So, a lot of, like, younger people are going to start moving in here. But and my neighbors across the street, they're going to be moving out soon, too, which sucks because they're super nice people. But I guess the old guy has some health problems. I actually have to help him tomorrow. His son messaged me because I helped him. He had some issues getting in his house one day. I helped him out because, he couldn't just do it by himself, so I helped him get him in his house. But he wanted me to go over tomorrow in the morning and help him get him from a hospital bed to a wheelchair so he can. So I guess they're trying to get him into a like a retirement center of some sort because he just can't do much. Like I said, he's always like 85 or something like that, which he doesn't look bad for 85. But I guess he just has I guess he had like dementia or something like that. He had a test for dementia, so he might have that. He might have something like that coming on, which really sucks because my grandfather had dementia, and you can just see whenever they just can't, they start not being able to, recognize who you are and shit like that. And mostly it wasn't really like me. I mean, he forgot a little more about me than he did like my dad, I think. He was my dad's father. I'm sure he kind of remembered, him a little more just because you think about it, all the years and years that he's, been on the earth. He was like 84, I think, or 85. All the years on this earth, he's known my dad for like, at the time, 49 or 50, whenever he passed. And then he's known me for like, at the time, 24, 25. So like, I'm sure like those lingering memories probably stayed a little more than, the latter ones. But, because he even knew, like, because his wife, my grandmother, died when I was like a year old. I don't even think I was a year old. Very young. I was very young. But she passed away whenever I was a year old. And then my aunt, my dad's sister, she passed away when I was like 10, I believe. Yeah, I think it was 10. Yeah, I was like 10 because I was very sad. And then that was it. Then it was just just my pap and my dad. Yeah, that was the family he had left. Besides like some other aunts and uncles that lived out, not far away, but like didn't live around us or anything like that. So it wasn't like, but as far as his immediate family, it was just my dad. And then, but he knew when they were asking him questions and stuff. He knew. He's like, yeah, well, he's like, I know my wife and my daughter are in the ground, which is weird because he's still refer to her, well, I mean, which is cool, I guess, still referred to her as his wife, even though he was remarried to this evil woman. She was so goddamn evil. And everyone knew it. Everyone knew how evil she was, but yeah, my pap was a good church-going man. I don't know what that says about anybody nowadays, but he's one of them guys who went to church every Sunday. He built houses. He built so many houses around like the town that I grew up in, and like the surrounding areas. He built a lot of homes there. He built like an apartment complex down around there. A couple of them actually. One that my aunt actually lived in. Because she had diabetes. She had it really bad. That's how she actually passed away, was diabetes. I don't know. She slipped into a coma or something like that. But so she was living in there, and I always think, and like my dad says this too. Actually, my dad says it's a good thing. He says it's a good thing your aunt died when she did, because if she was still alive now, she'd have been homeless, because she went. My pap's wife went around and just like sold all of his properties, just sacked up all this money, because he couldn't think for himself. He was going out. He was losing his mind a little bit. But she went around and sold all these properties. She sold that whole area. It was named after us too. Like our last name was the name of the apartment complex. Well, the road that it was on, I guess. But yeah, he had like a special apartment built for my aunt and everything like that. Had a little basement on it and stuff. Which was definitely, he wasn't supposed to, I guess. But my pap, being an old guy, knowing everybody, the cops weren't going to go in there and be like, oh, well, you're going to have to take this out. They weren't going to give a shit. They knew who he was. But, yeah, she probably would have been homeless, because she would have because my dad was renting a place off of him, too. Right around the time this happened, my dad was renting a place off of him, and she came in and said, well, you guys have to move out. We're selling it. You know what I mean? Like, which is a shitty thing, because he had these places for his kids. You know what I mean? He got these kids. I don't know if it was like a rent-to-own deal or something like that. I mean, obviously they would have owned it if it was up to my pap, they would have owned those pieces of property. More than likely, they would have owned those pieces of property, and then she came along and was like, well, we're selling everything. Your dad's going crazy. And my dad was like, you're a fucking bitch. And that was it. We never really talked to her again. We saw her at the funeral, and her fucking shit kids were there with their shit husbands. It's like just a family of shit people. And they came up to me. I'm like 24 or 25 at the time. Like I was working third shift, and they come up, and it was like 9 o'clock in the morning, whenever the funeral was going on. I just got off at 7, so I was tired. Then I go in there, and her daughters are, are you okay? Are you okay? It's like, yes, I'm okay. I knew this was coming. I mean, I'm not a fucking 12-year-old, you stupid bitch. I didn't say that, but I wish I could have, because that's the truth. I knew it was coming. I knew it was going on. You know what I mean? It's not like I was 10 years old when my aunt died, and I was bawling like a little bitch in my dad's shoulder. I was just I knew it was going. I knew it was happening. I knew it was coming. Everybody knew it was coming. Especially her, because she went well on her way to procure his money and fucking just spend it all. She got a nice new car right before he passed. She fucking I forget what else she did. She went to his lawyer, who is also a well-known lawyer. Well, was a well-known lawyer, actually. She actually passed away recently, too. Around the area, a well-known lawyer around the area, and, like, because of her power of attorney, went around and just, like, switched his will around like crazy. To the point where, like, I'm not saying my pap was a rich guy. He had money, don't get me wrong. But I'm sure he would have left stuff to, like, my dad. At least my dad, he probably would have left something to. Me, I don't know, maybe. But not that that's a big deal. That's not the point. But when they were, luckily, the lawyer contacted my dad, who was in the will, and was like, hey, she just came in and just switched all this stuff. And we're like, well, whatever. I mean, it's not like we're not going to be able to, not like we're going to go to court for it. Even if we did, it wouldn't work anyway, because she was power of attorney, so she could do whatever she wanted with it. But they She ended up finding like these old bank bonds or whatever, like savings bonds, like shit that people in like the 30s and 40s used. Found a bunch of them with like mine and his name on it and shit. And she was just like, well, she did. It's like she took all this money, but then we did find these. They all have your name on them. So I'm like, okay, cool. And we went, and it was like, like $1,200 bank bonds and stuff, like between the two of us. I was just like, this is so like 1940 shit. This is definitely something that a guy from the Great Depression era would do. You know what I mean? This is something that he thought, oh yeah, this is gonna last for fucking ever, and it's gonna raise, it's gonna be raised up in money. Like, yeah, it's gonna be fucking, But obviously that's not the way it worked. But she was just evil, and then she like, I remember she like bought his casket that they used. It had like gold plating on it. And I'm like, there is no fucking way. My pap drove around an '85 Chevy Workman. It was like fire engine red, like, and it was just beat to shit. He was just, if something broke, well, I'll just fix that. He had nothing flashy. The flashiest thing he had was a Dodge Caravan or whatever it was that he had, or it was like a Ford Windstar. It was a minivan. You know what I mean, he didn't. That was their regular car. Then he had his Workman. Like he's not a flashy guy. He didn't have fucking, he had a digital watch. You know what I mean? Oh, excuse me. He had a digital watch on his wrist. Like he worked with his hands. He worked outside. He didn't want to buy nice shit. He didn't buy, he had nice like dress clothes for like church and things like that. But the guy fucking wore khakis and flannel shirts everywhere he went. Everywhere he went. That's all he wore because he worked. All he did was build houses and shit like that. He's not going to go get nice stuff to go dig a hole to put a septic tank in, or fix a septic tank. He didn't have that stuff. He wasn't, but he made, he had money and he made sure that everything was well taken care of. And like I said, she was fucking. His casket was like more expensive than any vehicle he ever fucking owned in his life, which. I mean, maybe he would have liked that. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of fucking weird, considering she had the nice new car. They sold her their house. They had a house that they lived in for fucking years. They sold that. And she moved to a different town, and then just kind of blew through the money that he had. And then after the funeral, I literally never saw or heard from her again. Nobody has. Nobody has literally heard from her. Nobody has seen her. And like, there was a point in time where like they were trying to get me to go to college, where I was a young teenager, a young teenager who didn't know what the fuck he wanted to do with his life. You know what I mean? I was a fuck up, honestly. There was a good point in my life where I was a fuck up. I told you in my last fucking podcast, I was a piece of shit. So I mean, for me to just be like, oh well. I didn't go to college, obviously, because they just wanted me to go. They wanted me to go for, like, HVAC or welding or whatever, which in hindsight I probably should have done. But, again, being an 18-year-old pothead, I wasn't like, yeah, sure, let me go to college after I just did. That's the worst thing with that shit. I mean, school, you just did 13 years of school. You know what I mean? 1st through 12 plus kindergarten. That's 13 years. Granted, kindergarten doesn't really count. But more than a decade of school. And then they're like, all right, if you want to do something with your life, you want to not be a fucking garbage in the garbage can, eating out of the garbage can behind your shitty apartment complex, you got to do at least another 4 years of school. And to a lot of people, including me, and we're just like, fuck that. I'm just going to go start working now, which I did. I started working. That's when I started working. And I only had like 3 jobs my entire life. Like, well, 4 jobs if you count McDonald's when I was 14 or 15 years old. But other than that, I only worked at 3 other places. I never had any other jobs. And I've been at this job that I'm at now is the one I was at, I think, the longest, or close to the longest now. Yeah, about. I mean, if I were to go fill out a job application right now, I would only have to put this job on it because it was the only job I've had in the past 5 years, 6 years. Maybe it's 7 years now, depending on where you go. I don't know. But even still, college just wasn't for me, and I knew it. I mean, I knew I couldn't. Now that I think back to it, I should have been like, yeah, I'll go to college. I should have fucking went to college, but I didn't because, like I said, I was a dumb fucking kid. I was getting high all the goddamn time. You know what I mean? I didn't want to fucking go back to school for another 4 years. And some people went back to school for another 8 or 12. You know, depending if they got a doctorate or something like that. Maybe not 12 years. Maybe 10. Is it 10? I think 8 years you get your doctorate. I think that's when you get your PhD. I don't know. But either way, it wasn't for me, and I probably should have done it. But that persistence she had then was no longer around. Like I said, I haven't seen her now. This is 6 years ago now, 7 years ago since this happened. And nobody, not me, not my dad, nobody has seen this woman forever. You know, so come on, really, man? Let's go. But yeah, she was a terrible person anyway, and everybody knew it. Everybody knew she was terrible. I didn't know because I was a young kid. I didn't know any better. But my dad knew it. Even my pap's friends knew that she was a shiesty bitch. So, but even still, and like he even they would even tell him and stuff. But my pap he's set in his ways. But I don't know. I don't even know where I went. What's going on this now? Where was I? I just trailed off there. I don't remember what exactly my point was. Shit. Well, either way, that's the story of my. Oh yes, my neighbors. That's right. I met my new neighbors. But yeah, anyway, I have no idea who they are. Like I said, they seem pretty nice, and that's about that. But but yeah, I was cleaning my garage out, and so in my garage, I have an oil pit, so I can go down there and change my oil. I used it for the first time a couple months ago because I just got my sister gave me her old Honda Civic. She had an '04 Honda Civic that she was like, hey, it needs some work done. Needed like catalytic converter, some tires, new rotors, things like that to pass inspection. So I did all that, and I got it inspected. But I was like, man, I wonder when the last time she changed the oil was. Well, I probably wasn't, recently, because when I changed the oil, I couldn't, it was nasty, it was disgusting, but I couldn't get under the Civic like I could get under my truck. Because my truck, sits higher. I'm not I'm not a huge fucking guy. It's not like I could, I could slide. I can't, slide the whole way under it, but I could get under it enough where I could, hit the, I could take the oil plug out and drain it, and then, put the plug back in, and I can go and get the oil filter out, drain that shit too. But I couldn't do that with the Civic. Well, I'm like, well, I'm not going and paying to get my oil changed. I know how to change my oil. You know what I mean? I'm not no fucking alpha male here, but I'm certainly not a goddamn beta. And and I was like, I can change my own oil. I'm gonna go in here and I can, I need to go and get it over this thing. So I'm like, I'm gonna go and open up the plywood that's sitting on top of this oil pit. I open it up, and it's clean. It was surprisingly clean. I was super impressed that it wasn't like covered. Like there was cobwebs and shit like that, but there wasn't like a whole lot of shit down there. I was surprised. I thought for sure they would just been like a dingy dungeon kind of thing. I said I've been living in that house now for over a year, and there was nothing in there. So I went in there. I took a old chair from a table and chairs we set down there. I brought 2 of them down there, put my tools on. I changed my oil, and I was like, this is the nicest shit ever. The only thing that sucks is they made it a little wide, so I do need help getting the car over the hole because there's nothing there. It's not like, are you serious? Come on. It's not like when you go to like Jiffy Lube or whatever, or Valvoline. They have the things set up where he won't fall in. There's not like a cage over top of it or anything like that. But yeah, it was nice. I was like, this is very handy. I'm really glad that I did this. I'm really glad that I invested in this house now, because now I can do plenty of work down there. I can change all my fluids. I can do, it's not like I have a lift or anything. I'm not like a full-fledged mechanic. I can change my oil. I can change a tire. I can change a battery. I can do my spark plugs. I can change my air filter. I can do shit like that. I can change some fluids. But I don't, that's about it. I don't know, other than that, I need to get somebody who knows what they're doing to look at it. Because otherwise, you know, if I go in there and I'd be like, hey, I need my fucking, well, I mean, like I said, it just died fucking, the other night when I was on my way to work. Well, the other day, I was pulling in, I was going down 81, and all my gauges stopped working. My battery light was coming on. I was getting no fucking power. I just barely made it to work, and I tried turning it back on again, and that motherfucker died. Well, because I tried turning it back on, it just clicked at me. And they're like, yeah, it's your fucking alternator. So I have it at my buddy's house, who is an actual mechanic, and we're going to replace the alternator. We're going to do this. We did the spark plugs. We're going to get a new battery, do that. We're going to replace the serpentine belt, the power steering belt, change transmission fluid, change the coolant, I guess. This is stuff that he said I should do. I mean, I didn't know anything about any of that. I didn't know if I should do that or not. I don't know about, I never knew you had to change coolant. I thought it was just, keep it filled, but I guess you do actually. So I guess it does get kind of dingy. But, we're going to do all that, and then I can have that sweet, sweet gas mileage back because my pickup truck does not get good gas mileage. And I was tired of spending $40 a week in gas when I now spend like $40 a month in gas. You know what I mean? So that was one of the main reasons I got it from her, because she was going to just donate it to somebody, like to some car lot. I'm like, no, don't give it to those assholes. Just give it to me. I'll use it. You know what I mean? I'll fix it up, and then I'll drive it to and from work. I mean, obviously I can't take none of the kids with. I can take one kid with me. Well, I can take two with me, but it's not a big car. It's a two-door. So why would I want to have, the children in there? But, yeah, it's just something that gets, I get 35 miles a gallon, to and from work. I work, about a half hour, 35 minutes away from where I live. So to have that has been very convenient. And my insurance has not gone up very much. It went up like $12 a month or something. So I have a good driving record. So, I mean, my insurance isn't expensive to begin with. My wife, on the other hand, she has a couple speeding tickets, a couple wrecks. Granted, it's been a long time since any of that, but she still has them on her record. So, like, her insurance was, like, just ridiculous. Her insurance alone, when we first met, her insurance alone for her and her one car. Granted, she did have one of those Mazda Speed 3s, which that thing was a piece of garbage anyway. But she was paying like $140 a month just for her to be insured with that. And I was like, I was paying like, for me and my truck, I was paying like, I don't know, 40 or 50 bucks a month maybe. Now I was paying nothing. Maybe it was a little more, maybe it's 60 something. But it was nothing. And now I have 3 cars on the insurance. My truck, her car, and then the Civic, and we pay like $160 a month. You know what I mean? Which, granted, we're both on the insurance, so maybe it did raise a little bit, but that's it's a lot better than, some people paying $250 a month for insurance. Some people can't even get insurance because they suck so bad at driving. But yeah, that's what my plan is for the weekend here, is to fix this stuff up, get it nice and working again, so I can use that as my beater and not put any more wear and tear on my truck and her car. We're getting rid of her car anyway. This fucking thing, it's a Dodge Caliber. This thing is just fucking, it's garbage. I can't stand it. This thing has a roof leak. It's got like it's always leaking air somewhere in the tires. There's always some little dumb thing that's going wrong with it. We can't fit 3 car seats in it. It's the smallest of the fucking vehicles we have, besides I guess the Honda's smaller, but none of the kids get in that. So we're going to end up getting rid of that. Hopefully get a SUV. Whoa! Oh, my seatbelt. God damn it. But hopefully we'll get like an SUV of some sort. Something to fit all the kids comfortably, and then we don't have to be all smashed together. But we'll see how that works out. Oh my god. I don't know what the fuck I ate. Oh, it's the fish oil I taste. Oh, God. Yeah. I took fish oil this morning, and I can taste it now. I can taste it. Holy shit. I thought the fruit from my gummy vitamins would have fixed that right up, but I guess not. We'll see. Oh, how long this fucking lasts for. Getting some heartburn, man. Getting heartburn a lot. I've been taking more Tums than usual. You know, not a crazy amount, but enough that it's kind of obnoxious. Because I'm not one to like take over-the-counter drugs. I'm not one to be like someone that takes Tylenol every night, or anytime he has like an ache and pain, I'm not taking Tylenol because I kind of like my kidneys a little bit. And I know that'll mess it up. I know that'll mess up your kidneys a bit. But man, those Tums, dude, I could eat them. I could eat them all day long. Not only do they taste good, but they fucking get the grumblies out of my belly real quick, man. Real quick. Yeah, my oldest boy, he now takes vitamins every day. He takes Flintstone vitamins. And he asked for them. He's like, can I take my vitamin? I said, yeah, when you wake up tomorrow morning, you can't take them more than, he wants to take them like 3 times a day. I'm like, dude, you can't take vitamins more than once a day. You get 1 vitamin a day. I remember when I was a kid, I took Flintstone vitamins. I don't remember them tasting that good. I know they tasted pretty good, but I don't remember them tasting so good that I asked for a second one. And I gotta keep telling them, like, you only take 1 vitamin a day, man. And next year, my middle child's gonna start taking them too. Some delicious Flintstone vitamins with, I think it's iron. I believe it's iron that's added to them. I don't know which one it is. But it's a vitamin. They're gonna take vitamins. I took Flintstone vitamins. I turned out decent. Hopefully they'll turn out decent because of it. Hopefully they're, bigger than I am. I'm not exactly a tall person. But the more better stuff they eat, the better. Because I didn't eat good shit at all when I was a kid. If you put broccoli in front of me, I would sit at that table until bedtime. Because I didn't like it. Now, I love broccoli now. I fucking love broccoli now. But it's not how, like, my kids love broccoli, both of them. I mean, the littlest one, the baby, he doesn't know what broccoli is yet. He's going to find out, because that's definitely one of the things that we put, it's one of the things we put on our plate at dinner time. It's broccoli. Get some meat, some broccoli, maybe a potato. I don't know yet. Trying to stay away from potatoes. Not really baked potatoes, but like French fries and shit. I'm not trying to eat all the greasiness, but a baked potato, oh yeah, we eat some baked potatoes. Even mashy potatoes. Mashy potatoes are pretty good too. But not something we eat every time. It's usually like a meat and broccoli. Sometimes we'll have a noodle too. But I just try to get them to eat as much healthier shit as I can because I know I didn't eat much healthy shit. I still don't eat a whole lot of healthy shit. I don't eat, like I said, I don't eat like fast food a whole lot anymore. I don't eat, Pop-Tarts every goddamn day, which, let's be honest, Pop-Tarts are fucking terrible for you. Fast food is fucking terrible for you. So this motherfucker is way up above that line. That's why that white line is there, you fucking douchebag. Alright, whatever. But that's me trying to do my part as a father. Is just try to get them to eat decent food. Make it so they're not eating a bunch of garbage, not eating hot dogs every goddamn night, or fucking, the worst part is breakfast, because in the morning, it's so hectic in the morning, it's hard to get breakfast going. So there's days where I can make some eggs and sausage. I did that earlier this week. I made some eggs and sausage. And then I made pancakes this morning. Sometimes you're getting frozen waffles, man. I'm sorry. Sometimes you're getting frozen waffles. We give them blueberries, too. They'll get frozen waffles and blueberries. But some days it's kind of rough. We did have these like, what the fuck were they? Like breakfast bowl kind of things. And they were really good. Sausage, potatoes, eggs in a little bowl. But after a while, that gets old. And I'm sure if I made bacon and eggs every day, that would probably get old to them, too. I mean, they're kids. They're not exactly creatures of habit right now. Like me, I have a routine I go through every day. I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly what I'm going to do. at this time and at this time for the most part. Except for when it comes to the weekends, then I got to kind of plan it out a little differently. But for the most part, throughout my work week, so long as I know where I'm going, I pretty much know how my day is going to turn out. I know I'm going to stop and take lunch. I know when I'm going to take a piss. I know what times I'm going to have to take a leak. And I got to hope that I'm going to a place that'll actually let me into their bathroom to take a piss during this whole goddamn corona outbreak. Nobody wants us in the warehouse. I go in and I'm just like, hey, can I use your bathroom? No, we're not letting anybody use it. I'm like, okay, so can I piss out here in your yard? No, don't do that. Then where do I piss? Well, you get to hold it. I'm not holding shit, dude. You're going to fuck up my bladder doing that shit. And all my kidneys are going to keep filtering the same piss through? I don't think so. I'm going to piss either in your yard or at least in the grass somewhere. It's not like I always have an empty bottle on me. Yeah, I mean, which I did start carrying. I did start carrying an empty bottle on me just because, not carrying like an empty bottle that's been pissed in. But like I will drink a bottle of like water or that body armor stuff that I've been getting. And I'll keep a hold of that. Like I won't refill it when I get back to my terminal. I won't refill it, and then I'll just keep it in there just in case if I have to piss, because there's plenty of places that won't let you in. They don't have a porta-john outside. They don't have anything you can use the bathroom in. Now, I'm not always going to be able. Sometimes I'm out, 8 hours for a run. I can't exactly go and just wait till I get back to my terminal and be like, all right, I got to go to the bathroom now, and then take a 17-minute long piss because I've been holding it for the last 6 hours. It's not how it works, and a lot of people don't understand that. I get it. This is a serious thing. I'm not saying it's not. I wear my mask. I'm not a jackass. I know what the fuck I'm supposed to do. But the thing is, if you want the country to keep fucking rolling, I'm going to need a place to piss. They're going to keep shutting down they were shutting down those truck stops for a while. A lot of truck stops were shutting down, which was bullshit because obviously we need places to stop. Not shutting down like shutting the gates, but like you have to do all your, they wouldn't let you inside or anything like that. Now this didn't last very long. Don't get me wrong. What is that squeaking? Jesus. But that didn't last very long. That shit didn't last very long, but it lasted well enough that people were like, all your shit's going to be late because I'm going to take a shit on the side of the road then. And then I'm going to have to try and bust out back onto the interstate from the side of the road instead of, just getting off an exit like I normally would have. That shit's got to be infuriating, especially if you're like an over-the-road guy. If you're driving from, wherever you're at to another part of the country, you need truck stops. They need places to go. They need places to stop and piss. You can't expect them. Jesus, what is that? Oh my God. You can't expect them to just not be able to go somewhere and go to the bathroom. Not be able to go somewhere and eat. It's not like we can just pull into a fucking Wendy's and go through the drive-thru. It's not going to happen. And they're not going to, give us, we can't walk up to it. You know what I mean? So they figured that out pretty quick, though, because there's the one truck stop that I do normally stop at to take my pisses. I noticed that when they were closed for a while, but then they, that squeaking's getting obnoxious. But then they did open up for a while because people were just like, well, we're not even going to get gas here anymore. And they started losing a whole bunch of money because I pulled in there and there was no trucks. This place is usually filled with trucks. Like, I'm usually lucky if I find a spot in there. So, for them to not have any trucks in there wasn't any good for them because they were like, well, we know we can't get it. Because they couldn't, you have to go inside to pay for fuel, too. It's not like we have a company credit card. We can go and just get gas. That's not how it works. We have to go in, we have to sign this paper. At least that's how it was in my old job. Now I don't know what it is like because we have a fuel island at our place. We have a garage that has fuel in it, so I fill up before I leave. There's no issue for me to stop and get gas anywhere or get diesel anywhere because I'm not going that far either way. I go within, 100 miles of my terminal, and I'm doing pickups and shit. Like, this is all local stuff. But it had to have been a pain in the ass for the guys that were driving, cross country over the road like that. That has to be shit. I I did do that at my last job. I would go across the country. I've been as far as, Bakersfield, California, San Antonio, Texas. I even went to this fucking place in Wyoming. I can't even remember the name of it because it wasn't even like a major city. It was like this little town. They didn't have internet or anything like that. The guy, like, we had no cell phone service. All there was landlines. It was like we got there and everybody was so fucking bored. Now, granted, it wasn't anything like it was today. This was like 2013 or 2012 when I was working there. But when we'd get to this place, it was so boring. There was nothing going on. We couldn't play on our phones or anything. It was ridiculous. But yeah, and then fucking even up to like those trips are long, man. Those trips take a while. It's not like you can just fucking pull over and do something. When you're on the job, you can't really see anything. Like everyone's like, oh man, you get to see the country. Yeah, but you get to see it in passing. You know what I mean? And that doesn't apply to me anymore. But these guys that are over the road, they get to see it in passing. I don't get to stop anywhere and check shit out either. But I know everything around here. I already know what's going on. But if someone's like, oh yeah, I'm driving past Mount Rushmore. It's not like they're on fucking vacation. They're going to do whatever they need to do. So I mean, they're not gonna fucking be able to just stop and take a look at the scenery. They're not gonna stop and take a picture. When people say, oh, you're seeing the world. No, you're seeing it in passing. There's no enjoyment out of it. You're on the job. Yeah, you do get to see it, and it's cool the first time. But when you go back and forth for all the time, no, that's not exciting. It's never going to be exciting. You see the Mount Rushmore 86 times. It'll never be as exciting as the first time you see it. And that's including if you're just going on a regular vacation too. You go to Disney World. Well, okay, maybe not. Disney World's probably not the same as going to Mount Rushmore. It's different personalities go and do that. But if you're going to Disney World, it's probably not going to feel like the same as the second time you go as it was the first time you saw it. You're going to be like, oh, cool, Disney World again. You're going to enjoy yourself. You're going to have a fucking hell of a time. But it ain't going to be like it once was. I don't know. We'll see. But I've never been to Disney World, so I don't know. I didn't have a first one. I didn't have a first experience yet. But I assume it's pretty sweet. I assume it's pretty amazing. I mean, it must be. There's still, kids are getting eaten by crocodiles in there, and people are still going. So it must be just a fucking magical world. Maybe one of these days, my wife actually asked me about this. She goes, we should save up some money. We should put back money for like the next 5 years so we have enough money to go to Disney World. I'm just like, 5 years. We're going to save money for 5 years to just go to Disney World. It's like, well, I mean, we probably won't spend it all, but there's going to be 5 of us going. And I'm like, man, I mean, is it worth it? I mean, I feel like I would love my kids to enjoy Disney World for once. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just have to start saving up money to do that. Start saving up money and fucking see if I can get us to go to Disney World. That'd be nice. Like I said, I've never even been to Disney World. So, I mean, I assume it would probably be a fun time for all of us. So maybe I will do that. I'll just go to Disney World. But to have to save up for a vacation like that for 5 years just to go and see a place, with a guy dressed up like Mickey Mouse, save up for 5 years for that seems kind of absurd. I mean, I don't make that much goddamn money. I mean, so I guess it would have to take fucking 5 years to save. But, like, I just feel like if I'm going to save up for 5 years, the amount of money I would have saved up, I could fucking put a down payment on another house. Buy a whole new car. But I guess they say you need to pay for experiences and not for material items, I guess. I guess that would be a good idea. We'll see how that works out. But I think this is it right now. I'm actually starting to get to a point here where it's starting to get busy, and not on the highway anymore. It's kind of busy out here right now. People are pissing me off. I'm going to start saying swear words a lot more than I normally do. So I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut it here. Be a little shorter than last week's, but it's all right as long as I'm able to get to like an hour. If I can get to like an hour, that'll work out well for me. I think that'll work out. Hopefully it works out well for everybody else. But anyway, thank you guys for hanging out here, listening to me bitch and moan. I will be back again next week for another wonderful installment of Double Clutch Media. See ya.